5:45 p.m. kickoff today of Hoffenheim versus Tottenham. There's a Bet365 Super Boost. I love these Super Boosts, which is over 3.5 shots on target for both teams and both teams to score at 2-1. These Super Boosts are great. There've been a lot of them recently. I do like them. I like keeping an eye on them. Not that I have a Bet365 account. Who does? And if you did, would you really be betting on these? Rather that they go up on the exchanges. And they're hard to work out. I like things that are hard to work out because it means that very few people on the exchanges know what the fair price is, and when that happens, we can exploit it. We find a lot of value, both in backing and laying, but we got to work it out. And I'll put my hands up saying, I've seen this bet before, but I never worked it out. Today was the day. We're going to work it out, and we've gone through a period of time and not sharing anything. Let's share this. Let's share how we work it out. Maybe it'll help with working things out in the future as well. Do you like my new glasses, by the way? Check these out. Oh, the light's on. What does the light on mean? The light on means I'm recording you. I'm recording you because there's a camera right here, and the light lets you know there's a camera. So I've got this new idea for marketing, and I needed these glasses to do that. So they're so cool. They've got speaker on the lenses, and the speaker's amazing. I recommend them. The Meta Ray-Ban glasses. But there you go. Let's turn this off, and let's get back to the bet. So how do we approach a problem like this? We have to strip the bet down and then build it back up again is how we do it. And we've got to make a few assumptions, but let's park the difficult stuff. So a couple of things that are unnecessarily complex that we don't need to worry about because they don't affect the crux of the calculation and the fact that not every goal is a shot on target. We know some are own goals, some are deflected that weren't going on target. Let's park that to the end. We've got lots of data for that. We can add it in at the end. It's not the majority of the problem. And another thing is there's some correlation between, if Hoffenheim get 15 shots on target and 8 goals, then Tottenham are less likely to achieve their pre-match expectations. So because of the dominance of Hoffenheim. I know we've done a lot of work on that, positive, negative, and neutral correlations. Park it, come back to it at the end, worry about if it has a major effect or not then, okay? More importantly is this issue around how do we work this out given that we're assuming that most goals or every goal is a shot on target. How do we work it out? There's a Venn diagram, if you can picture it in your head, with shots on target and with goals. Well, one thing is we can look historically. Check out this graph. I have looked at lots and lots and lots of teams across all the major and some secondary leagues in Europe. And when we're looking at conversion rates by shot on target, we range from 44, 45, 46%, Sporting Lisbon and Spartans and Arona, right at the top. Not every team's listed on here. There's so many teams because I've got like 300 teams in this graph. And at the bottom, FC Köln, Vallecano, 18, 17% conversion rates, right? So that's one thing we can look at. And there's a sort of an average of 31%. Remember that number. Favourites get 33%. Underdogs get 29%, as you would expect. Underdogs convert fewer of their shots on target into goals. That's one way of doing it, but it's hard. And one of the reasons looking at historical data is hard is because you've got to weight it for the relevancy of the forthcoming match. Tough thing to do. For example, Spurs were recently playing Tamworth. You would expect them to convert maybe more of their shots on target. How many did they actually convert? Spurs fans, listen, it's just difficult, but we can actually approach this from a different way because I have a database, you can have a database. There are ways of working out expectancies for goals and from shots on target that don't involve looking at historical data, but maybe taking a look at the markets. And at bookie bashing, I'm not going to delve into how we've done it. It's another video for another time, but we have an expected goals for Tottenham for 1.65 and expected shots on target for 5.29. Now let's divide 1.65 by 5.29. We get 31.2%. There's that 31% figure, right on the European average. It's not for Hoffenheim. Hoffenheim, 1.63 expected goals, 4.68 expected shots on target, 34.8% conversion rate from those shots on target. Okay, we've got our conversion rates. Here's how I'm going to attack the problem. I'm going to consider just Tottenham to have over 3.5 shots on target and a goal. That's where I'm going to start. And actually, I'm going to go even further, and I'm just going to start at Tottenham to get exactly 4 shots on target and a goal. And if I can do that, I can multiply it by Spurs to get 5 shots on target and a goal, and 6 shots on target and a goal, and 7 and 8, all the way up to when it is insignificant and the probabilities don't need to be added up anymore because they have no effect on the overall. I mean, you can keep on going to infinity, but at some point it makes sense to stop. Right, so how do we work this out? Well, listen, Spurs have an expectancy of 5.29. We can use just a normal Poisson distribution that will tell us, and you can do this in Excel equals Poisson.dist, it will tell us that for exactly 4 shots on target, there is a 16.45% chance that occurs. So that's the shots on target part. But if they have exactly 4 shots on target, how many goals do they score? We know they've got a conversion rate of 31.2%. A lot of the times in statistics, it's easier to talk about things not happening than happening. If they have a 31.2% conversion rate, for a shot on target, that means they've got a 68.8% probability that they don't score it. And for 4 shots on target, that's 68.8 times 68.8% times 68.8% times 68.8%, or if you like 68.8 to the power of 4, which is, if I bring up the correct sheet, 22.4%. 22.4% of the time they get exactly, when they get exactly 4 shots on target, they don't score. And subtract that from 1, it means they get a goal 77.6% of the time. And that's the number we need. 77.6% of the time. This is called a binomial distribution. It's not a Poisson distribution. The reason for that is if they get 4 shots on target, we can't be including probabilities of 5, 6, 7, 8 goals. Because we're assuming that every shot on target is a goal. So it's illogical to do that. I mean, we can add in the bells and whistles at the end, but if we've assumed this now, we can't be doing that. And you might think, well, you know, the probability of Spurs getting 5 goals is relatively insignificant. Actually, we're doing this for 4 shots on target and 5 shots on target and 6 shots on target. It does start to add up. All these insignificant, unlikely events will add up and affect the probability at the end, so we can't be doing it. So we're using something called binomial, where we look at just 2 things. They either score or they don't score for every shot on target. It's a yes or a no. And we're using the percentage chances there. And again, 77.58% of the time they score when they get exactly 4 shots on target. And there's a 16.45% chance of them getting a shot of 4 shots on target. So just multiply those 2 things together and we get to our 4 shots on target and a goal is 12.76%. That's 16.45% multiplied by 77.6%. So there you go, I've got my number. That's the important thing. I've got my number for 4, and I can repeat that for exactly 5. I can repeat it for exactly 6. I can repeat it for exactly 7. I have repeated it for 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. Exactly 13 shots on target, 0.32% of the time. And if they get 13 shots on target, they will score 99.2% of the time with our binomial distribution. So exactly 13 shots on target, and a goal is 0.32%. I could go further. I could take that to 10,000 to 1, but I'm at 300 to 1 at 0.3%. I'm going to stop there. And I'm just going to add up 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8 and 9 and 10 and 11 and 12 and 13 shots on target and a goal. And if I do that, I've got my Spurs over 3.5 shots on target and a goal at 67.9%, or decimal odds 1.474. Repeat that with Hoffenheim with a slightly different expectancy. Same kind of expectancy for goals, but it's different for shots on target. Different conversion rates. I get 1.624 for Hoffenheim, and that gives me 2.39 fair odds, taking the product of both. Is there any negative or positive correlation to add in now? Maybe a little bit, but actually 4 or more shots on target for both teams is within the realms of expectancy. It's a likely scenario, as is a goal for both teams. It's not unlikely, and what we find with correlations is they have more of an effect at unlikely situations than they do with likely ones. So whilst there will be something to add in there just now, it's not going to be obscene. It's not going to affect it too much. I'm happy to go with 2.39. Now that conversion rate, it is important. Let's just say the conversion rate is not 31.2%, but it's 30.2%. All of a sudden we go from 2.39 to 2.42. And at 28%, it's 2.48. We very quickly climb. So the conversion rate is actually one of the key inputs into this. So you want to be getting that correct. And then we can, at the end, think about things like own goals, things like deflected shots. Now, we've come up with this finally. I thought this was going to take me half an hour. It's taken like 5 hours or 5 man hours or 6 man hours. Posted it on Twitter. Posted it on Twitter with slightly different numbers because the market's moved slightly in terms of expectancy. And actually, it's amazing how little the market has to move for the numbers to move. But you can now go and get 2.7. You have been able to all day. 2.72. How much is traded on the exchange? £30,000 just on one exchange. That's Markets. Over at Matchbook, how much is traded there? I have no idea because my internet's being slow, so I'll just refresh that page. Over at Markets, they've traded 15,000, 45,000 pounds is traded. Plenty of money to be had there out at 2.72. So 2.39 fair odds. It seems like a good bet. Posted this on Twitter, and I've realised we've now hit peak 2025. Because when I posted on Twitter the first time, this video will be the second time. The reply I got from somebody was that there is a different figure out there that's being used. And that different figure comes from Chat GPT. Of course it does. If you want to know anything, ask Chat GPT. And Chat GPT has come up with fair odds of 4.4. So Chat GPT is saying lay the 2.72, lay the 3 that Denise is offering. Good luck if you're laying it. I wouldn't do it if I was you. One of the problems with Chat GPT is it's an idiot, and we can't yet be in the world where we say that AI knows everything. I actually don't think in my lifetime we'll be in a world where artificial intelligence will be coming up with plus EV bets. There's too much intricacy involved in things like this. But this person posted Chat GPT's workings. Chat GPT had over 3.5 shots for Hoffenheim at 55%, so even money. And they had over 3.5 shots for Tottenham at even money. Now, I don't know the answer to this, but I'm just going to pop over to, for example, Bet365. Do they have an under-over for shots on target by team? You can get under 4.5 shots on target at evens, and under 5.5 shots on target, nearly evens for Tottenham. ChatGPT thinks that it's 55%. So there you go. I would be back in the unders there. But yeah, that's the defense mechanism these days. You put something out, and ChatGPT will correct you as soon as possible. So I hope that the logic steps that I've taken you through in this video have helped give some reassurance. Going back that 2.7 is definitely a good bet on the exchange, despite what ChatGPT says. And be careful with things like ChatGPT, artificial intelligence, and random men in glasses, because you never know who's watching.